Monday will mark 3 years since the disappearance of Antonio Vela Jr., also known as TJ. Griselda Perez has the latest on the family's unanswered questions. Plus, VISD board members meeting tonight. NewsCenter 25's Carolina Astrain joins us live with the latest.
And it's been sunny these past couple of days, but is there any rain in the sight? We'll talk about that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But NewsCenter 25 at 10 starts right now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for NewsCenter 25 at 10. I'm Don Brubaker. Ozzie Mora has the night off. First up, the latest update of COVID-19 case counts in Victoria County. The Victoria County Public Health Department Thursday night reports 11 new cases of COVID-19. As of right now, there are 38 active cases in Victoria and 65 active case counts in the Golden Crescent region. This includes the surrounding counties such as Calhoun, DeWitt, which also reported 1 new case Thursday night, Goliad, Jackson, and Lavaca counties. You can always go to our website, crossroadstoday.com, for a daily update of COVID-19 case counts. VISD board members met tonight. NewsCenter 25's Carolina Astrain is following the meeting. She joins us now live in our studio. Carolina.
Thanks so much, Don. Yes, a transportation company made a recommendation to widen the gap in release times between high school, middle, and elementary school campuses so buses are able to operate more efficiently and on time. The head of the district's transportation department said they would need 20 new buses to meet current needs. And introductory budget talks also took place, during which trustees say we do need to pay better mind to paying a competitive rate for more experienced educators to better retain more experienced teachers in Victoria. And the next 2 months are crucial for budgetary talks for the school district, as the facilities are also facing some much needed upgrades. The percentage of funds in the district's fund balance is also below where it needs to be. So there are several financial needs in different areas. The only question is where to locate the funds. It seems a local bond election may be unavoidable with all the expenses needed to be made. In other business, on Wednesday, Superintendent Quentin Shepard says the district will share more information on how the school district plans to approach the fall. Also, if you haven't registered your student in VISD, doing so now will help with those budgetary talks this summer. So be sure to get your student registered, even if you aren't sure they'll be attending. So this district has a better idea of how many teachers and staff they'll need to hire for this coming year. For your hometown news, I'm Carolina Astrain. Back to you, Don.
Thank you, Carolina. VISD had a very unusual high school graduation ceremony last week. It was so unusual that longtime TV broadcaster Jeff Power came down from Austin to put together a special report on VISD's special in-person pandemic commencement, the first event on the new Frostbank Field at Memorial Stadium.
We used the hashtag #SaveTheSeniors, and we got it out there and tagged the VISD board. So we had a meeting set up that coming Friday with our principal to discuss all of our ideas and our feelings, and they were very open, and VISD did a great job with taking all of our ideas into consideration. If you wear a mask, 6 of your family members get to watch you, so I think it was the best of both worlds.
Really happy that we could do it in a safe environment so the kids and the families don't have to worry about their own safety. We've got that taken care of. They can just enjoy the moment for what it is and celebrate as a family.
You have a voice, you have to use it in the right place, the right time, and in the right way, otherwise you're just noise. And so after visiting with our seniors, we were able to come up with a plan that met the guidelines and some of the things that they wanted to be with some of their classmates. And so now that we're on this new turf, it's a lot vibrant than our old one, and so it's great to have our seniors come together at least one more time, walk the stage, and enjoy this milestone.
You know, these seniors of 2020, what a spring semester they've had. They've missed out on so much, and then to be able to at least have their graduation here at the stadium on a brand new turf field. So it's really been neat for them, and we're happy and excited that it's taken place.
Really happy that, number one, we get to do it for our kids. That's huge. Just this event and this celebration and breaking it down for the kids that way. We wanted to individualize this to the greatest extent possible, doing everything in our power to make it special for them. That was important. So one of the first things we did is we went to our senior class and said, what do you want for your graduation? We want to try to deliver on that promise. And our community has come to expect ownership in big decisions like this.
Victoria East senior Kelley McLeod was a big reason why this graduation ceremony is taking place here at Memorial Stadium in in Victoria. The field looks primed and ready. The students are excited. Not only the fact that the administration here at Victoria ISD listened to what they had to say, but now it's becoming a reality. They're walking across the field and receiving their diplomas on the stage just as originally planned.
The field is holding up well. We told the kids no pointy-tipped high heels, so they've all been the wide platform. Obviously, our focus in school is education. That's job number one, and everything else is a distant second. So the fact that we actually get to christen the field with graduation ceremony, that couldn't be any better.
There's an online petition to remove a well-known statue at De Leon Plaza in downtown Victoria. The monument is dedicated to the Confederate States Army, along with a Six Flags monument. The petition, found on change.org, started collecting digital signatures on Monday, inching closer to their goal of more than 1,500 signatures. Organizers want the Confederate statue removed. Others have created a counter-petition stating it's a memorialization to those who fought in the Civil War. We've reached out to the City of Victoria for a statement, and we're waiting to hear back from them. Ashley Furniture in Victoria hosted its grand reopening this evening. People who attended were eligible for prizes and a special discount off their purchase. There was food, water, and plenty of fellowship to celebrate this milestone.
So we actually started this project in February, and COVID kind of put us behind a few weeks, but we are thrilled to say it's time to get out. You've been in your home, and maybe you've seen something in your home you want to replace. We've had a lot of customers who have enjoyed seeing the new furniture, seeing how it can be displayed, and then refreshing their home. So we feel awesome.
Ashley Furniture is now reopened to the public, and they're also offering 36 months no interest on a purchase, so stop by and give your home a refresh. Taking a first look at your hometown forecast, Chief Meteorologist Brian Alonzo joined us now with the latest. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Don. Yeah, definitely today was a hot day here. We saw those temperatures at 95 degrees. We started off at 62 degrees, and guess what? We actually tied our record low this morning. Yeah, 62. How often does that happen? Usually anything we're breaking is usually the high temperatures, but officially no rainfall out there today. So as far as what's going to be happening over the next couple of days, we'll continue to deal with the heat, but we're going to be talking about how, or I should say when, the humidity will start to go up. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Don?
A record-setting day. Thank you, Brian. Monday will mark 3 years since the disappearance of Antonio Vela Jr., also known as TJ. Several years later, and the family still has many unanswered questions. Our Griselda Perez has more on the story.
Investigators with the Victoria Police Department are staying on top of this case. It's an open investigation. Family members hope to keep TJ's name in the public as they hold on to hope of seeing him back home soon.
We declare today, Lord, that we continue to stand strong in faith, believing that our Lord, our loved one, TJ, special ed, are safe and will come home.
These words, said nearly 3 years ago, are still the daily prayer the Vela family says. 36-year-old Antonio Vela Jr. was last seen in front of this very bar where each year his family gathers in prayer. After a night of fun with friends, he was last seen at a nearby gas station before heading back home. But he never arrived. In our previous reporting, his car was found abandoned on the side of a road in Inez. In 2017, former VPD Chief J.J. Craig said numerous calls came in about the case.
We do have information that points to being suspicious and that foul play was probably involved. However, we don't have enough information that we can conclusively say that a crime has been committed.
Since then, his family has stood on busy roads with signs and his picture. They even hosted a benefit garage sale to purchase billboards around Victoria. Right now, the VPD says this is not a cold case, and their Crime Stoppers unit is looking into every lead.
TJ, I love you very much. We miss you, all the family misses you, and we want you back home. Safe and sound.
In Victoria, I'm Griselda Perez for your Hometown News.
You can read and watch our previous stories on TJ Vela Jr. Just come to crossroadstoday.com. The Vela family is planning to gather next Monday to hold a prayer service for TJ. They're asking anyone who may have information to come forward. If you can help police, they really want to hear from you. You can call Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200.
A statue of Christopher Columbus in Houston found vandalized Thursday morning. The statue is located in Bell Park in the Museum District. The face and hands of the statue were covered in red paint, and a sign that read, quote, "Rip the head from your oppressor," was taped on the front of it. The 7-foot bronze statue was donated to the city in 1992 to celebrate the 500th anniversary of Columbus's discovery of the Americas. While some neighbors are disappointed by the sight, others believe the statue should be removed.
I don't believe in the destruction of public property, but I think that maybe they belong someplace else.
Red paint was also used to vandalize the statue in 2017. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo is instituting a 4-level color-coded COVID-19 threat level assessment beginning today. The announcement follows the expiration of her stay-home, work-safe order that expired on Wednesday. Hidalgo was joined at the news conference by Mayor Sylvester Turner, who echoed her sentiments.
People should not take things lightly or assume that the virus is under control. As Judge Hidalgo said, the virus is not under control. The community spread is not under control. And as more people get out, move about, get close to one another, we fully anticipate the numbers to go up.
Meanwhile, Houston's largest water park will open by the end of the month. Six Flags Hurricane Harbor Splashtown. Planning to get Houstonians back in the water. The water park will open under Governor Greg Abbott's guidelines set for water parks and operate at reduced levels during a preview mode scheduled for June 29th through July 2nd. Some of the updated technologies the park has in place include thermal imaging for temperature checks, a safety plan that includes social distancing and extensive sanitizing. Guests can make reservations now. But wait until after news, okay? Stay with us. Coming up on NewsCenter 25 at 10, government officials across the country are announcing policing reforms in the wake of George Floyd's death. Plus, the president taking part in a roundtable with law enforcement, faith leaders, and small business owners in Dallas. The latest coming up after the break.
NewsCenter 25, your hometown news at 10.
Welcome back. It's day 17 of massive protests across America, with thousands of demonstrators calling for an end to systemic racism and police brutality. Now, government officials across the country are announcing policing reforms in the wake of George Floyd's death. ABC's Rena Roy has the story.
Rallying cries getting louder coast to coast, with thousands continuing to demand police reform. In Washington, D.C., demonstrators were joined yesterday by the brother of George Floyd after his emotional testimony before Congress, pleading with lawmakers to hold officers accountable.
I'm tired. I'm tired of pain. I'm here to ask you to make it stop. By the leaders that in our country, the world needs the right thing.
Meantime, in Seattle, some protesters have occupied a part of downtown, calling it an autonomous zone, taking control of a police precinct and the surrounding area earlier this week. Since then, no officers in sight. President Trump now condemning city and state officials, threatening to step in to take back the city, tweeting that if you don't do it, I will. Domestic terrorists have taken over Seattle. Governor Jay Inslee firing back, saying a man who is totally incapable of governing should stay out of Washington state's business. An ABC News analysis of police arrests nationwide shows black people were arrested at a rate 5 times higher than white people in 800 jurisdictions in 2018, according to data reported to the FBI by police departments across the country. In places like Minneapolis, where Floyd died, African Americans make up just over 19% of the total population, but account for a whopping 63% of arrests. Amidst calls for change, the Minneapolis police chief says the department will withdraw from contract negotiations with the union and start using new technology to better track officer misconduct and intervene.
We will never evolve in this profession if we do not address it head on.
On Capitol Hill, House Democrats have introduced legislation banning chokeholds and limiting legal protections for police. Republicans have said that they also support some reforms, including a national registry to track police misconduct and prevent officers from switching departments to avoid accountability. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Florida reports its highest single-day total of COVID-19 cases today, but Republicans have selected Jacksonville, Florida, to host their celebration marking President Trump's acceptance of his party's nomination for re-election. Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel made the announcement Thursday, a day after saying Jacksonville was a front-runner for the event. The party's more mundane business, including discussions over the platform, will still be held in Charlotte because of contractual obligations. The speech was moved after North Carolina's Democrat governor balked at promising the president a full-blown convention without social distancing measures during the COVID-19 pandemic. And President Trump says the nation needs stronger police forces. The president taking part in a roundtable with law enforcement, faith leaders, and small business owners in Dallas this afternoon. The event focusing on police reform and race relations, and an opportunity for the president to outline his four-step plan for police reform, including an executive order to encourage police departments to follow use of force standards. The president making it clear that the police must be respected.
We have to respect our police. We have to take care of our police. They're protecting us, and if they're allowed to do their job, they'll do a great job. And you always have a bad apple no matter where you go. You have bad apples.
And taking a look at Skycam out there right now, we're mostly clear skies. We do have some of those high thin cirrus clouds passing on by, but we got several things to talk about. We're going to talk about if there's any rain in the forecast. At the same time, we're also going to take a look at the drought monitor. We have an update for you. We'll talk about it, all of that coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Closed Caption is brought to you by CRT Flooring. We know flooring. Ask about the Gold Star program. Your hometown weather authority.
And welcome back, everybody. Start you off with a drought monitor. And of course, when I show this to you, I always like to look at a comparison. So we're looking at 1 month ago. So this was essentially the second week of May. You can definitely see most of South Texas here was doing not good here. We were dealing with some drought conditions, and they've got up to the extreme category. But since then, we've gotten rain with regularity, and that has really put a dent in the drought monitor. Here's what it looked like last week. You could definitely see some of the dry and even moderate category. We got rid of the extreme, but here's what this week's drought monitor looks like. It actually shrunk, but it's still especially over for the Victoria area, Vanderbilt, Port Lavaca, and just north of Seadrift. So yeah, we could definitely still use the rain and knock out some of this, but unfortunately, it's just not in the cards. And I'm a little bit concerned that because it looks like long term, we just don't have that precipitation in the forecast, that this may actually expand. Yeah, so not good news. We were doing so well, too. I was all very optimistic for that, but we'll keep an eye on it for you. But as far as temperatures right now, 75 degrees in Victoria, 77 in Goliad, even 78 degrees in Refugio. So overall, not too bad, but those humidity levels come up just a little bit at night here. So we're seeing those dew points into the mid-60s, and as far as a little bit more inland, still dealing with the mid-50s. And so overall, it's still rather comfortable out there. On the radar right now, we've just been tracking some showers off in West Texas, but as you can see, not much going on here across our area. Most of this is ground clutter, especially off to the west of San Antonio. But what about our rain chances? We'll talk about that coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
NewsCenter 25 at 6 and 10 is also heard on KVNN 1340 AM, Victoria's News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at Future Tracker. And as we go through the next couple of days, yeah, looks like we're still going to be dominated by the big H here. That's high pressure. And what happens is we get sinking motion going on in the atmosphere. So that prevents any shower and thunderstorm activity from developing. And at the same time, if you don't have any moisture in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, kind of like what we have now, yeah, you're not going to get much in the way of cloud cover. The only thing that we've been seeing out there is those high thin cirrus clouds. And that's all about that you would get. And even as we go through this upcoming weekend. Yeah, not expecting much, but you can definitely see all the precipitation is going to kind of go around us on the periphery of this high pressure system. But let's go into the upper levels of the atmosphere, show you what's going to be happening as we go through next week. And I got to tell you, it's not good news. Look at this. So now we still have that high pressure on top of us. And as we go through the middle part of the week, yeah, not much change on that. That's still going to be dominating right over Texas. Definitely this low pressure system is something they're going to be watching along the mid-Atlantic states. That's going to produce a lot of heavy rainfall for those folks as we get toward next week. And there's another storm system off and toward the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, for us, yeah, it's going to be fairly quiet here, but it's just going to be hot. As far as what the Port O'Connor Marine forecast looks like for tomorrow, we're going to be expecting those winds out of the northeast, 10 to 15 knots, bays occasionally choppy, seas 2 to 5 feet with water temperature at 87 degrees. So tonight, 65 degrees, mostly clear and comfortable. Winds are expected to be light and variable. But for your day tomorrow, 9 o'clock, we'll see temperatures going to 81 degrees. And by noon, already warming up to right around 87. And we're forecasting a high temperature right around 94, maybe even 95 degrees, but still on the less humid side. Winds are going to continue to be out of the northeast to 10. So we'll continue to expect those high temperatures to be into the mid-90s and overnight low temperatures into the 60s. But as we head late into the weekend and the beginning part of next week, winds are going to start shifting out of the southeast, which means more humidity will start coming on in. Low temperatures will not be in the 60s. They'll start heading into the low 70s. And of course, we'll watch that high pressure because there's some indication that that might try to strengthen just a little bit here. And that could cause our temperatures to go up maybe a couple of more degrees to 96, maybe even 97. Of course, you can download the Crossroads Today app and get your latest news, weather, sports for your Apple or Android device. And don't forget, it's free. We'll be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's talk baseball. A huge announcement affecting the Generals and the entire Texas Collegiate League made Thursday. The TCL and the Generals will be joined this season by 5 minor league organizations, including AA Amarillo, who will field 2 teams, Frisco and Tulsa, and AAA San Antonio and Round Rock. These teams will be made up of active college players from across the nation. The 10 teams will be divided into 2 divisions. The Generals in the south, joined by the San Antonio Fighting Chanclas, the Round Rock Hairy Men, by the way, name changes for copyright concerns, and TCL holdovers Brazos Valley and Acadiana. These teams will each play a total of 30 regular season games, followed by playoffs.
It's wonderful that, you know, the city's worked well with us. We've come out and we've determined what 50% crowd would look like at Riverside Stadium. And who knows, by the time our season starts, it may be a larger crowd than that. So we're expecting to be able to still house a pretty good-sized crowd there at the field. All games are free ticket nights because we got some great sponsors this year.
Players start reporting to the Generals next Monday. Their first intra-squad game, open to the public, next Thursday night at Riverside Stadium. The Generals season will start June 30th on the road at Acadiana. The Generals' first home games at Riverside start July 3rd against the Brazos Valley Bombers. A Refugio standout officially has his name called in the 2020 Major League Baseball draft. Former Refugio pitcher Jared Kelley not picked in the first round or in the compensatory round on Wednesday night, but selected 47th overall by the White Sox on Thursday. The Gatorade National High School Baseball Player of the Year, who has signed with the Texas Longhorns, ended his high school time at Refugio with a 32-3 record, 0.43 ERA, and 23 no-hitters. Before his spring season was canceled due to the pandemic, Kelley posted a 3-0 record with a 0 ERA and 34 strikeouts in 12 innings. Summer sports leagues starting to resume in Victoria. One of the sports beginning next week, youth summer baseball. Victoria will send a U15 baseball team to Pearland next Saturday for a round-robin tournament against Houston area and Louisiana travel teams. The U15 team features 3 players from East, 6 from West, and 2 from St. Joe. Our Sean Coffey spoke with 2 West Warriors about how excited they are to be back on the diamond.
It's kind of fresh, I guess, like, because you're playing it for a different team and stuff. And, like, I don't know, it's like for my first tournament for a different, like, going to a different town. So, pretty excited.
The excitement is definitely there, not being able to be on the field. It definitely feels amazing, getting our reps in, being able to be on the field again. and just seeing another day of baseball feels great.
The U15 team will play their first home game of the season on June 28th at Riverside Stadium. Texas Longhorn football players reported to UT Wednesday. Bad news soon followed. UT announced that 2 unidentified Longhorns football players are self-isolating after testing positive for COVID-19. Another tested positive for the COVID-19 antibody, according to a UT statement. One of the student athletes identified symptoms during pre-screening and was tested before arriving on campus, while the other 2 were tested during the on-campus screening process. And after a 90-day shutdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the PGA Tour is back for the Charles Schwab Challenge in Fort Worth. First, we'll show you former PGA champion Justin Thomas looking to get going as he drains the birdie at the par 4 ninth to go to 3 under. Then, world #1 Rory McIlroy will use the whole cup for the birdie at the par 4 ninth to get to 2 under. But the first round belonged to Britain's Justin Rose, who finished the day at 7 under for a 1-stroke lead. Rose started the day with 3 consecutive birdies, then closed out with 4 birdies in the back 9 to shoot a 63. On the first day, Rose shares the lead with Harold Varner III. Final 2 rounds on CBS 41 this weekend. Great that golf's back. Stay with us. Coming up on NewsCenter 25 at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, a restaurant in Paris unveils a potentially COVID-proof dining system. That's next after the break. Finally tonight, ahead of a French government announcement later this week on the opening of restaurant interiors to diners, French celebrity chef Alain Ducasse unveiled a novel art-infused air ventilation system in one of his smallest Parisian restaurants. Using the high-tech air filtration devices used in hospitals, a group of inventors conceived of a system of chic metal pipes, filters, and diffusers to slow down the speed of air particles. The system was tested to show in a 12-hour experiment that air molecules between tables did not pass, as particles were slowed down and whisked away by a suction device from ventilation mouths above each diner. So there'll be mouths above the diners and on the diners. I get it. Okay, I got it. Chief Meteorologist Brian Alonso is here with the last look at your hometown weather. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Don, can you say the name again, please?
Alain Ducasse.
Nice.
Merci.
I was wanted to see if we could do it. No, totally. Yeah, no, good job on that. Hey, that sounds pretty cool, by the way, as well. As far as our forecast for tomorrow, it's going to be a hot day again. We can expect high temperatures right around the mid-90s, and we'll continue to see low temperatures into the upper 60s. But yeah, humidity coming back next week. Get ready for that too, Don.
All right, thank you, Brian, and thank you for watching us tonight. Download our app, Crossroads Today. It's free. We'll see you tomorrow at 5, 6, and 10. Good night, everybody.